thanks for joining me on another shelf-by-shelf video with all the isolation hair and everything. Yes, every day I look like a complete mess, at least until we get barbers open. That's not really going to change. So perhaps you'll just have to check out a time, like, video-by-video progression of just how bad my hair gets. Well, on with some more games. Right, we are done with Fantasy Flight. We are done with Portal. We are now, well, almost done with Portal. We'll do that one first. But then we're getting on to AEG. So, kickstarting this shelf down here. What are we now? Shelf 22? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 actually. Oh well. Learn how to count. Right. Imperial Settlers, roll and write. Now, I'm not the biggest lover of roll and writes, as people will know. But I don't hate them. I just think that it's like, there's like 50 million of them and most of them are, like 99% of them are the same thing, regardless of what setting you put them in. There are two, though, that I get behind. One of them is Harvest Dice. That is my favourite. It's the one where you actually care about the other players. Sadly, I seem to have lost my copy, so God knows where that's gone, so next time I see one in the store for a tenner, I'm buying it, because I want it back in my collection. This, however, is my second favourite of all the roll and writes. This is Portal's Imperial Settlers roll and write. Yes, a bit of a dumb title, but nevertheless. Why do I like this one more? Well, firstly, even as a multiplayer game, because it's an engine builder, rather than just simply, oh, I'll just cross this off a sheet, it actually feels a little bit more interesting. You know, you're collecting resources, then using those resources to level up on tracks and cross things off a sheet, yes, but it's not just simply a case of, oh, I rolled 2 6s. I'll cross off that 12. Alright, roll a bird symbol. Cross off that route. You know, it's a bit more interesting than that. The reason I like this, though, most of all, is the solo mode. Solo mode, you get 48, I think, different sheets, and each sheet has 6 buildings on it that you can, if you want, build during the game while you're trying to level and get the most points, or get a certain minimum points. But you don't have to build them all. I mean, you won't be able to build them all. And because you're trying to do the shapes on the tracks as well, you will play each of those sheets completely differently from the previous one, because all of them are unique. And even if you were to play it 2 or 3 times over, you would try a different strategy out, or different buildings. So you could easily just print all 48 sheets off and you've got 48 more solo games to play. This is definitely one to check out if you are a soloist and a fan of the roll and writes. Right, AEG time. And right, oh god, we got some big ones here. Let's check out this one. I have not played this in some time, and I think part of the reason is because if I don't play it solo, it doesn't hit the table as much as I would like, and that's Dice City. Dice City is a cool, underrated AEG game, but the thing with this is it's kind of like you build your own village full of different buildings, and you've got a starting board and you can update the board with other stuff, collect resources, get more points. It's an engine builder. But it's done by rolling dice, and based on the colours, they go into their respective rows and columns and trigger various buildings. But you can build up a row to be nothing but upgraded buildings. You could build up like lots of different buildings across all the rows. You might replace a building that got you wood with one that gets you combat strength and focus more on that. There's a lot of different ways you can play it, and this, I think, has every expansion to date. So this is a fully kitted out game, which is solid. It's easy to play. Graphic design's nice and simple. The components are pretty good. The artwork's colourful. It's solid. Why has it not hit the table much? Mainly because I've had other games to play, but also because the one flaw that this game does have is that it doesn't scale well in terms of time. Because you're kind of doing your own thing on your board with the occasional bit of interaction, playing this with 3 or 4 players is kind of not really necessary. It just takes too long to wait for people to hurry up and do their turns. 2-player though, it's great, and I do find this to be a very good solo mode. I think I mentioned it on my solo games list, although maybe I didn't. I don't know. If so, well, if I didn't, then you've got another one here. But this one, as a solo or 2-player game, I think works very well. It's just nice and simple. Even if you throw in all the expansions, it's not particularly that difficult. It just adds 1 or 2 extra small mechanics. It's mainly the fact that it adds lots of different buildings that you can play with. I enjoy it. It's a good solid one. Just hasn't seen the table for some time. Okay. Now we've got 2 bigger ones. I'm going to have to get the muscles out for this. And I haven't done my workout today. Alright, go on. Here we go. Now this is a contentious one. Smash Up. Now showing you the back of this box ain't going to make a difference because I don't think there is anything on the back of this box. Well, actually, tell a lie. There is. But I think trying to keep this in one piece is going to be tricky. No, it's upside down now, but it's not a lot to reveal on the back. It's mainly just cards. The idea with this is that this is the big geeky box, and it's got a ton of expansions in here for a card game, which is basically put 2 races together, beat each other up, control locations. Nice and straightforward, pretty easy even with the expansion monsters. Again, problem with this is that I think this works better as a 2-player game. 3 is okay, 2 is best, 4 is too many, it's too chaotic, and it doesn't have a solo mode, at least not an official one that I know of. I have stopped collecting this now. I got to a point where this box got full up, and I thought, you know what, and by the way, little tip, print these off BGG and laminate them. They're very good for the locations. I don't know who did them, so don't ask, but you should be able to find them on BGG easy enough. Right, take those rulebooks out. There's a lot of stuff in here. I have filled this box up completely with all the expansions that comes today. So, I mean, I can have everything from zombies to orcs to explorers to elder things, superheroes, kung fu fighters, changer bots, Gorgonzola. Oh, Godzilla, sorry, is that a thing? That's a Titan, I think. Grannies, halflings, rock stars, shapeshifters, warriors, tricksters, tornadoes, sharks, sheep. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff in here. Now, because it doesn't hit the table very often, again, because it's best played with 2, and I struggle with 2, I decided not to buy any more expansions for this, and I stand by that. If I did, I'd have to get another big box, like the Super Geeky box, whatever they've got, and it's just not necessary. But I don't want to sell it either, because it's taken me a long time to get this collection up and sleeve it and everything. So I'm just kind of hoping that one day it will get rekindled a bit more often. But I still really enjoy the game. But it has gone down for a bit, you know, but it's going to sit in that collection and hopefully stick around for some time, because I don't think anybody would buy this whole Smash Up collection from me. I think it would just be a little bit too much. But let's say, still really enjoy this. This is still maybe not a top 100 game anymore. It's definitely a top 150, but it just needs to see more table time. It's kind of the crux with this shelf, actually. Yeah, including this one, actually. I think that seems to be a thing with this. Oh, bonus game. Bonus game. Didn't realise I still had a copy of this. Yeah, Love Letter. The tiny little, simple game. This is like the old little pouch one. The player card, drawer card, player card, sleeved. What more is there to say about Love Letter? If you're in the gaming world and you don't know what Love Letter is, then you have definitely got here at a late stage. But this was essentially the king of micro games, and it pretty much still is. It's so simple. You can play this for 5 minutes, you can play this for half an hour and finish the whole game. It doesn't matter. Just kills time very nice and easily, and I didn't realise I still had it. Well, maybe I'll find Harvest Dice somewhere on my travels as I go through this. Alright. It could have fallen down the back. I wouldn't be surprised, actually. Alright. Now this. AEG's got a thing about giant boxes. And it doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, later on. This is Mystic Veil. This is Conclave box. Now, in terms of showing the back of this one's going to be a little bit more complex. But to be honest, seeing the back of this doesn't really give you a ton. It's just I don't want to run the risk of all the stuff falling down in there. But, oh yeah, in terms of player count, they're all 1 to 4. Dice City was 1 to 4, Roll and Write is 1 to 4, Smash Up's 2 to 4, and this one, I think with Conclave, you can now technically play this, I believe, 2 to 6 players. However, be warned. Mystic Veil itself is a fantastic game. It's a great card crafting game where, a bit like deck building, but instead you sleeve these little plastic sheets into the sleeve and it creates the card. So you create these really good combos from top, middle and bottom of different effects. There's a game coming off on the net video which takes this to a whole new level. But this one is still really solid. There's a great Steam version of it out. The app is really good. And the reason I've got this box is because, well, firstly, storage, because the problem with Mystic Veil is that you kind of want to buy expansions very, very quickly. But, I have got several expansions and there's still plenty of space for more. Once the isolation coronavirus thing is over, I think we should be expecting 1 or 2 more expansions, if not already. But I really do enjoy this one. But the reason Conclave is definitely one to consider is because one flaw of Mystic Veil is, again, because it's not a huge amount of interaction, it's a little bit long with 3 and 4 players. Best played at 2, 3 is still good. But Conclave throws in a new rule where you play 2 turns simultaneously. Normally one person does a turn, and another player, then another player, and another player. That's why 4 player takes too long. Here you can play up to 6, and I don't recommend you play with 5 and 6 anyway. I suggest you keep it at 4. But with 2, 3, and 4 players, you can now play with a rule where you've got 2 sets of cards that you're buying from, and it's night and day basically. And 2 turns go simultaneously. So the day players will buy off the day section of cards, and once they're done, then they'll switch tokens, and the night section players will buy off the night section of cards, and then when they're done, they become day and they become night. So you keep alternating between the two sets of cards you're allowed to buy. But because you're playing 2 turns at the same time, unless you've got that one player who is completely analysis paralysis prone, it pretty much cuts the time length of the game in half. It's a bit more of a setup burden, that is the problem, but it is a really cool addition. And certainly if they bring this out in the app version, Steam Conclave will be pretty solid, I can tell you that. But I still get a kick out of this, and it's not the only card crafting system in my collection. You'll have to wait till the next video for that. So, these are giant boxes, and there's a bigger one to come. Although the next one, as a result, literally only has 2 games in it. So that'll be a nice short video for you. I'll see you then. Take care, guys.